morning guys. I just wanted to do an explanation about the next task that we're doing, which is your investigation. As I've pre-warned you, this is a big task and so there's a lot of work that needs to go into it. In fact, it's pretty similar to the research project in some ways, in that it's a research task and you are investigating a workplace practice. Okay, so that can be whatever you want, whatever is affiliated with your interest with work. So for instance, Chloe, you are interested in teaching. You might want to investigate flipped classrooms and how teachers are using them in their teaching, which is exactly what this video is right here. So it's about investigating an issue in the workplace that you are really interested in. It is a 2,000 word report or the equivalent multimodal presentation. So say about 12 to 15 minutes if you did a PowerPoint presentation. You could actually do a PowerPoint presentation like what I've done and do a video like what I've done, and that could be your task rather than doing a written report if writing isn't your strength. We are marking 6 performance standards for this task. So you need to hit each of them. You can do the world's best report. It can be beautifully written and very eloquent, but if you haven't actually hit these performance standards, it can't pass. And so I really need you to be very clear about what these actually are. So we've got KU1, which is knowledge and understanding 1, and that's you demonstrating an understanding of knowledge, skills and competencies appropriate to the relevant industry. So for instance, Chloe, again, if we talk about teaching, then obviously you can't teach without a teaching qualification. You could actually talk to some of our prac teachers that we have in the school right now. You could talk to current teachers. You could talk to teachers from other schools. You could talk to presenters of further qualifications or further training that teachers can undertake to upgrade their skills. We'll also have knowledge and understanding 2, so understanding and explanation of concepts and issues related to industry and work. So therefore, you need to be able to demonstrate your understanding of the concepts that relate to your industry. Again, Chloe, if we use the flipped classrooms as an example, you would need to be able to clearly explain what a flipped classroom actually is and why teachers may use them. A1, so application of your generic work skills and where relevant your industry knowledge. So you really need to be able to talk about that specific industry that you're investigating in great detail. Like you need to be an expert about it, okay? A2 is the application of relevant knowledge and skills in the context of an industry workplace. So you actually need to be able to talk about the knowledge and skills, let's say making a flipped video, and talk about it in the context of the industry that you are investigating. So for instance, the education industry. IA1 is the critical analysis, so investigation and analysis 1 is a critical analysis, so really analysing, looking at both sides, at least both sides if not more, of the relationships between work-related issues and practices in the workplace. So for instance, let's say we're talking flipped classrooms. There's going to be some teachers who are really for flipping their classroom, and there are some that are going to be really against it. You can't have an opinion about this. You need to investigate it and see where people sit and actually talk about it from all different points of view. IA2, the investigation and analysis of the dynamic nature of work and work-related workplace issues, cultures and/or environments locally, nationally and globally. Basically what they're saying is the workplace is an always changing environment. It will never stop changing. So you need to be able to talk about where it's come from, talk about where it may go in the future, make some predictions, or be open-minded to the fact that your work career is going to be an ongoing learning experience and be able to discuss that. So I need to see evidence of that to be able to mark you on that performance standard. Please come back to this video and watch this part over again if you're not really clear about those 6 performance standards. So this task has got a couple of parts, okay? Part 1 is to create an organisational chart. This is what I've done in the past with students so that they can help break this task up into smaller size chunks that work for them. So create an organisational chart that documents the process of planning, making, delivering and evaluating a process undertaken in the workplace. Or you can create a mind map like you did with Research Project, which demonstrates explicitly the research you intend to undertake. So not very general, not I'm going to look at this and I'm going to look at websites, but specifically what websites. I'm going to interview people, specifically who are you going to interview. This will be created in conjunction with the initial research, so you need to be undertaking research as you're going so that you can assess if there are enough reliable sources available for your topic. You can discuss either of these with me. I'll be available via email today or via DayMat message. And then part 2 is, if you do the organisational chart, you write a series of notes which relate to each point on the chart, and then you expand that out. Now there is an explanation sheet about that attached to DayMap so that you can see what that might look like. Or if you choose the other option, then you're going to develop and record your research. So you can use a sources table similar to what you did with Research Project, but you don't need to worry so much about the right-hand column because we're not analysing the sources this time, we're just doing the investigation. So make sure though that before you decide on a topic you discuss that with me. I need to be very aware of what it is that you're going to be researching before you start. Alright, so then you're going to present your findings. You're going to ensure that you are really clear about how you're going to present them. So if you're going to do a report, you need to know what a report is. And if writing is not your strength, then you certainly should have found out through the Research Project, then please don't do a written report or don't do an essay. Let's focus maybe on doing some oral presentations like what I'm giving you here so that you can actually present your findings maybe in a more dynamic way and in a way that doesn't stretch your writing skills too much. You need to ensure that presentation, we're going to go through it and make sure that you're hitting each of those 6 performance standards consistently. So you can't just hit them once, you have to hit them a few times. You can include photos, notes, drawings or other visual supports that allow you to demonstrate each part of the process. When I say each part of the process, I'm talking back here where I said the planning, making, delivering and evaluating. Okay, so if you were talking about flipped classrooms again, then it would be slightly different because you're not going to be actually making something and investigating how that would work in the workplace, but you will be perhaps researching, organising your thoughts, and then like researching really would need to include interviewing people as well, organising your thoughts and then telling us about those thoughts, like actually delivering your findings about flipped classrooms and whether they're a good thing or not, and then evaluating whether flipped classrooms are a good thing or not a good thing. So that's where you get to take your stance and say whether that's a good thing or not. So we're not evaluating the research processes like we did with Research Project. We're evaluating what you're actually investigating and what that might look like in the workplace, okay? So, really do your background work. You need to be aware of what this 2,000 word investigation could look like, or be open-minded to what yours could look like. There are no limitations, and so this is a very open task. Again, you're in Year 12, so this is very much about you taking control of what it is that you're investigating and me supporting you with that, okay? So there's a whole range of external investigation exemplars on the SACE website. Can you please log on to that and have a good look at those so that you are very aware of what you could do with this topic and how other students have actually hit those performance standards. And then a starting point. So once you've done that, and perhaps you've looked at the exemplars which are in the white bag available to you in the room for what students did last year, and you've also looked through the task sheet and the supporting document which is going to be uploaded to DayMap, then your starting point would be to start exploring some issues in the workplace. If you choose an issue that doesn't have a black and white answer but has some grey areas, so gender equality in the workplace or occupational health and safety issues in the workplace, you are going to have more to say when it comes to presenting your findings. But please make sure it is something that you are genuinely interested in, and please make sure it's connected to the industry that you would like to work in once you have left school. Okay, that's going to make your investigation so much more interesting. So a starting point is to start doing some investigating on Google and start to think about the bigger area, and then doing some initial research and then actually refining that question just like you did with Research Project, and then we'll have a starting point to sit down and really discuss what it is that you're hoping to investigate. So good luck with starting on that today.